going to have to run, Gary, because you're going to be in there fairly quickly. Breck picks up the lead. Oh, and Zanardi, with a terrible crash. Yellow is out. Zanardi coming out in turn 1. Loses control of the car.
Tires that are going around get together. One car tends to take off, and that's what happened to Kenny.
Kenny was sealed in the cockpit, spinning down the racetrack.
It took me like 2 seconds to realize this was major, this was huge, this was maybe Kenny was Brett.
Emergency crews raced to the scene of the crash.
There was so much debris on the racetrack, we didn't even know how many cars were involved.
I just saw the replay in my head all the time, so then you cried. I mean, just cried my eyes out.
Kenny was unconscious when we first got there.
Within minutes, Kenny was carefully lifted from the wreckage. Paramedics immobilized him and rushed him to an ambulance. It was obvious that both his ankles had been crushed. They were bleeding profusely.
This is SportsCenter. Oakville, Ontario's James Hinchcliffe was taken to hospital and underwent emergency surgery on his upper left thigh following a crash during an Indianapolis 500 practice run today. Hinchcliffe had just posted a lap speed of 221 miles per hour when an apparent failure to his front right suspension sent him slamming into the wall on corner 3. After the crash, the 4-time Indycar winner was awake when taken by ambulance to a local hospital. The accident comes just a day after Indycar sanctioned reduced speeds and increased downforce after having 3 drivers slip their cars within the last week. Indycar temporarily shut down the track to conduct an investigation.
Bastien Bourdais also trying to make a move. Right now it's Rossi the leader, then it's Power. Wickens, they're going to make contact. Big contact, car in the air. It's Robert Wickens that spins. Ryan Hunter-Reay was just underneath him. James Hinchcliffe involved. We have a major mess here exiting turn number 2 at the Pocono Raceway.
The car of Robert Wickens made contact with Ryan Hunter-Reay, got airborne, got into the catch fence, and came back to rest on the racetrack, rolled to the inside. A number of cars involved in a spectacular crash here at Pocono Raceway.
And that car is certainly destroyed, but you can see Mike moving inside the car. He's going on the inside of Ryan Hunter-Reay. This reminds me almost of Dan Weldon's crash here in turn 3 and 4 quite a few years ago, and the car is up into the fence, which is almost reminiscent of Kenny Brack's accident at Texas quite a few years ago, guys. Very, very lucky.
You know, he was incredibly lucky that he did not go head into that fence. That is a horrible impact. Wow.
A very busy period with Danica Patrick showing the way speed-wise at 226.2 miles an hour. Ed Carpenter second quick at 225.1, and Scott Dixon at 224.8.
Everyone else, they talked about a wing adjustment. They vetoed that wing adjustment and a crash on the track.
Huge crash on the front straightaway. Looks like Connor Daly and I believe Joseph Newgarden. Big hit coming into the tri-oval.
Connor got loose. Connor just got loose, corrected, and went up into the track into Joseph, and now Joseph's upside down and the front spins around, and Connor's car pushing it right into the wall, into the safer barrier. It's a good thing that was safer barrier and not concrete.
Place. And we've got a car into the wall right off of the first turn. 2 cars tangled. One of them is Eddie Cheever. The other looked to be Stan Fox. And the front end of one car cut away. The rest of the field slows.
All right, Paul, in turn 2 we can see debris, the main bad thing. Debris, broken race cars, laying all over this race track. Clear down into turn 2, all the way from turn 1, clear down here. There's Dan Fox sitting right in front of us there. The biggest thing the guy's going to have to worry about when they come back around, cutting their tires and all the carbon fiber laying around.
Second replay, how many tires and suspension pieces began to come off the cars right away and affect cars that really were not part of the original accident at all.
Really has kind of run where he came out. He hasn't been able to pass anybody, hasn't really been...
Oh, and we have a big-time crash on the backstretch. Looks like that it is Davey Hamilton involved along with Sarah Fisher.
Yeah, Davey Hamilton, the yellow and red car that appeared to have a lot of damage. Sarah Fisher's down to the inside.
The engine obviously stalled, so I'm going to need somebody to come and get me, but the front of the car just like gets towed in. I had nowhere to go. There was stuff flying everywhere.
Well, they're taking... Oh, contact was made between Schrader and Sarah Fisher back there. She just kind of ran over some stuff, but Schrader and Hamilton, when they got together, let's see what happens as they... Oh,
Schrader blew his engine. Yeah. Look at that.
Yeah. Everybody was a victim of circumstances right there. It wasn't anybody's fault.
As part of the Penske team, Dan Weldon, the current points leader. Tony Kanaan sits in fourth, and Dario Franchitti, we've got a big yellow coming into turn 4. All kinds of debris, and it's the 33, the back end. That is Ryan Briscoe, who initially qualified on the pole, and as Jamie Little reported, after an infraction to his car during post-qualifying.
Actually, you can see on the very underside, what a ride that was. Remember we had last year with Buddy Rice getting airborne coming out of turn 2 when they touched wheels. And here's the situation. Briscoe going underneath. Barron trying to come down on the racetrack. They both are going for the same piece of real estate.
Lane. It's when you start to go a little bit high that things might get a little bit loose for you. That's what happened to Will Power when I saw that 2 years ago in turn number 2. Ideally, I think you'd like to be low, in particular going into... Oh, we have a huge crash here on the track right now. It looks like Mikhail Aloshin. I'll have to look up who it is. I saw Aloshin earlier was running very close with Charlie Kimball and as well Sebastian Saavedra, but don't want to identify just yet who it is.
Newgarden goes for the lead. No, Will Power.
Power goes around, one of the championship contenders, and then up on his lid over the top is Ed Carpenter. Takuma Sato has also crashed. A major pile up as we restart in the opening moments at Gateway.
So the surface was slick for Tony Kanaan, and it's slick for the rest of these guys. Will Power with a really massive mistake on the first lap.
He just lost it all on his own, cold tires.
That was a big move from Newgarden, and boy, Will Power is lucky the way Ed Carpenter backed up gearbox first on board with Newgarden. And watch this. How about this setting a championship tone? Big move around the outside. There goes Power straight around. I think he just picked up some turbulent air.
We've had a terrible accident in turn number 3. One of the cars has hit the outer wall. There are pieces of race car everywhere. The car is in flames, but there is a fire truck there. A number of the safety officials were up against the wall. They quickly dove down the embankment to get out of the way.
Fans fear the worst. The car disintegrates down the short chute. With the cockpit gone, the driver is eerily exposed.
But my goodness, he's flying around the race course.
This is... Oh, he loses it! Oh, it's a huge shunt.
My goodness. Sebastian Bourdais as the car comes to a stop, and the fact that his hands immediately go to his visor, a wonderful sign.